I don't think he did.
I don't think. Hey, that's Dallas. I ain't a Cowboy fan. So.
But what I'm saying is Kirk Cousins is in the same mold. I guarantee you. I think they have the best roster offensively and defensively, and they're not going to win a playoff game. And that's sad because even the coach, Mike Zimmer, amazing coach, they're not going to win jack, bro. They're just not.
I wish B was here for this question because, this is just from me asking y'all, but like looking at how Detroit is and like how they've been playing, and it seems like they're right there and they can't close out these games. But Matt Stafford, his numbers are looking great as always.
Do.
Does Detroit need to? Do they need to move on from Matt Stafford?
Yes.
Is that crazy for me to say that?
No.
To do what?
But here's the thing, though, right? Like, Detroit has made a lot of blunders during Matt Stafford's career. The biggest one was getting rid of Jim Caldwell. We talked about that a week ago or so, right? Because it's not that Matt Stafford can't play. Matt Stafford just isn't consistent enough to be a champion. And I think Caldwell brought that out in him. Turnovers were down.
But we saw that he's good enough to be a playoff team with the right coach.
100%. 100%.
Nagy may not be that guy.
Who?
Matt Patricia.
Patricia may not be that guy.
He's kind of
Chicago.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I think Matt Patricia is a good coach. I just don't think that he would be. He needs a Peyton Manning. Matt Patricia does. Matt Stafford isn't that, right? Like Matt Stafford is, he's a top 12 quarterback, top 13 quarterback by skill, not by statistics, and if we're
by production he is.
Because we know he has all of that, it would seem to me like why get rid of that when you could just find the right coach?
I don't think Matt Patricia is a bad coach. I think he's kind of turned, especially that defense. Like he's helped that defense out a lot, especially that secondary. For some reason, I just feel like Matt Stafford. He
needs a quarterback guru type head coach. He needs a Sean.
Some of his plays are like empty calories. It's like you threw 4 touchdowns, but you lost by 12 points or more than a touchdown.
Here's the thing: they got a guy named Kerryon Johnson who had a great year last year running the ball. Don't look like he's really getting a chance to run the ball this year at all, the way they did last year, and that helped Matt Stafford out a lot. These last couple of losses appear to be coaching losses to me, and when you got a guy that has the talent and they just can't get over the hump, I would look at coaching. And they had a guy, they got rid of him. And I'm going back to the blunders you pointed to. So now we want to blame Stafford for that?
He's just the only consistent thing.
Like somebody got to go.
He's been the only they've gone through all these coaches like you mentioned.
And what's next? And that's always my question when we talk about these things. Like, what's next? He gives you a chance to win where before you got him, you didn't even have that.
Okay. So again, I think that there's teams that would take on a Matt Stafford that would have a high draft pick. So I think you could work it out.
Okay, but when we look at the organization, we really need B here, so we can break it down. So let's revisit this next week. But what I've observed as from afar, we have a 10-year QB who's had a team that has terrible defenses since he's been there. He's had one good coach that got him to the playoffs since he's been there. Everybody else has been bad. They haven't been able to get the running position right since he's been there. And they finally got it right, and they don't run the ball. So these seems like organizational blunders, to use Raf's word. But we're putting it all on Stafford.
Because, again, I agree with Nick in this point. Matt Stafford has been the most consistent piece out of all of that. And if he's going to be a franchise QB, that means that he can pull that weight. And he hasn't been able to pull that weight by himself.
He's not a franchise QB, so he needs dependent pieces in order to succeed.
But then if he ain't a franchise QB, then why are we putting so much stock into him?
Because he has talent enough, and he needs the pieces around him to be able to win, a la
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying if you can't be with the one you love, be with the one you with.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Peyton Manning. He's no Tom Brady. He's no Russell Wilson. We know all of this. And he's no somebody else is getting it done right now without a lot of pieces around him to win. He's none of that. We've seen that. We have enough evidence to know that. But you give him the right pieces, he can get the job done.
Going on to the Raiders, does John Gruden deserve some credit for this season?
Hell no.
He got him to 500 without Khalil Mack, without Amari Cooper. Obviously, he made those trades, and with that AB fiasco, like he's got them in the second place of the AFC West.
It's not gonna.
And now that we talked about with Patty Mahomes and that injury, and
but
y'all talking about they could lose.
You gotta give him his props. Come on now.
They could win this division possibly.
By default, because
that is what it is.
Because Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and we're gonna give him credit for that.
But at least he has his team in position because we didn't give him nothing. Nobody at this table gave him anything.
They got a breakout Hard Knocks player who's balling, by the way. Shout out to Waller.
I don't want to shout him out.
That's your fault. You put him on the bench. I'm just saying you got him balling right now. What weapons do they got? What quarterback do they really got?
I feel like this is one of those. I feel like this is Danny Dimes all over again. I feel like this is Dak Prescott all over again, where we get caught up in the moment. And I'm just saying right now. I'm not saying. I'm saying right now. What's their record? 2-3.
They're 3-3. They're 500.
Smashed by Green Bay.
They're the best. Okay. Green Bay's one of the best teams in the league.
We saw what that team was when they played a league competition.
And that's cool. And we're not saying that the Raiders are Super Bowl contenders. Mm-hmm. We're not saying that the Raiders are going to go far. What we're saying is that we got to give John Gruden credit because we thought they were going to be way worse. We thought they were going to be way worse because, again, he traded away his best player in Khalil Mack. The whole AB fiasco. We didn't know what the future held for Derek Carr. Derek Carr looks back to being a really good quarterback in this league. You have to give John Gruden and Mike Mayock a lot of
his draft picks with the running back, with that corner.
They're starting to pan out, and we don't know what these future draft picks are going to hold. They might be a joker. All I'm saying, Ken, is this. Ahead. All I'm saying is this. Did you expect for them to be 500 right now?
I do remember. They're not 500. They're 2-3.
They're 3-3.
Ken, did you expect for them to be?
Are you sure?
500 7 weeks into the season? Yes or no?
Yep, they're 3-3. They
who they beat? So they were 3-2 coming into this week.
They beat the Broncos the first game, then they lost then they beat the Colts and the Bears, and they just lost to the Packers.
The Colts is a good win,
and the Bears. Oh, we know what that offense is. Well, you looking at me? Me? About the Bears?
You the one that said that's a good win.
And then their next four games, they play against the Texans, the Lions, the Chargers, and the Bengals. So they win in at least 2 of those. 2 to 3 of those. They could be.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
But answer the question, Ken.
No.
In week 7.
I'll answer the question. No, I did
not.
All
right.
But I'm not going to. I still.
But that's giving that right there by you not thinking they were going to be 500 is giving John Gruden's props.
This feels like when Dak beat up on those good teams in 3 weeks. We had him in.
We gonna get to Dak. Top 5. Save your Dak stuff. We gonna get to Dak
in the top 8 because we saw what happened when he came back down to reality. Nah. We
saw what happened this past Sunday too.
It was terrible.
Is Aaron Rodgers the forgotten MVP of the season?
Yes.
Why is that? It's because of the style that they're playing that you got to give credit to everybody instead of just him?
No, I think that there was a lot of noise finishing last year, right? Because we know how great Aaron Rodgers is, but he hasn't been in the playoffs. He hasn't been winning. So we know that Mike McCarthy thing was kind of big. And obviously they downplayed it as much as possible. So now you bring in a new head coach. And at the beginning of the season, we're like, oh, they're not on the same page. They're this, that, and the third. We had questions about their defense. We didn't know how good they were going to be, but we know that they improved. We also didn't know how good the run game was going to be, even though we know they drafted a guy that, okay, maybe he could do something, right? Devontae Adams has been out pretty much the entire season so far. And they are now just catching rhythm offensively. So it was just a lot of, I want to say, negativity, and then also a lot of discombobulation to begin the season that now we're just seeing what Aaron Rodgers could do in this offense. And I think it's now, right, literally almost midway through the season that, okay, now they're starting to gain traction and they know what they want to do and how they want to do it and how they're going to execute. And that trust needs to be formed. So we're just seeing that right now because at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is still top 3, bro. Like he didn't fall off. Mm-hmm. He's still top 3. It was just a lot of other stuff happening. It's just starting to get in sync. And I think it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and I think, people just got tired of him. You know, out of sight, out of mind. Like you said, he's been hurt, and people just got...
And he didn't make the playoffs the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
right?
So I think they just got tired of the Aaron Rodgers drama. but he's starting to adjust to this team and this offense. Him and
Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, they developing chemistry, man, and he's starting to understand the offense, which we've seen evidence of that with the increase in touchdowns.
And this man only had 6 incompletions.
Yesterday? 6
incompletions.
He was balling. Like,
who you play?
It was the Raiders. But that doesn't mean
it was a perfect game.
You play
it
who
was
you
a perfect
play.
game.
You play who you got to play. You just trying to shit on it.
You do. And we never thought the Raiders were going to be good, so it's not like you're throwing shots at them.
And they're 500. They could be a lot worse.
A lot worse.
Especially for how they gut the team.
They could have been 1-6, and I would have expected that.
Speaking of teams that maybe need to start gutting their roster, but they got to start with the coaching staff. When would Dan Quinn get fired?
He should have been gone.
These Falcons.
It's a wrap.
And how long is Matt Ryan? I haven't really looked at the injury report, but I saw he was in a walking boot.
Yep, it don't even matter.
He ain't hurt.
Taking the rest of the season off.
He said, "Fuck this." He making the injury and everything. The pain shoot from leg to leg.
Yeah, he should have been gone.
Break it down for me. What's going on?
They're not even playing hard anymore. And remember that's the thing I said last week. I was like, I don't know if I get rid of Dan Quinn just yet. Let me see how the team plays.
We see it now.
They're talking about trading Vic Beasley and everything. Once that happens, that's when you start going down the line.
Trade the pieces, not the pieces.
It's the coach.
Yeah,
it's the coach at this point. He's lost the locker room. They shouldn't have never lost that damn Super Bowl.
Yep.
That is the beginning of the end for Dan Quinn.
And he hasn't been able to replace Kyle Shanahan, who, interestingly enough, is 6-0. And
I'm trying to tell y'all.
And look at Dan Quinn.
We'll get to San Fran too.
You know, so I think he just hasn't been able to replace his coaches.
Yep.
And he is not a guy that can do it all. He's no Belichick. He's no Sean Payton. He's a guy.
No Pete Carroll.
No Pete Carroll.
And it's funny because they play the Seahawks next.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Pete Carroll lost his offensive coordinator after he cost him that Super Bowl, and they still rolling.
Yep.
And he doesn't. And we know Matt Ryan is a dependent player.
Exactly. He's not Russell Wilson.
Yep.
He's not Russell Wilson. So it's one of those things, man, that I think at this point, Dimitroff is a very smart GM.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Vic Beasley is good but not great. If you can get additional draft capital for him.
I think it's because of his contract. That's all it is.
Of course.
He's making like $12 million.
Yeah. They're paying him like he's elite. They were paying him for his ceiling that he didn't reach yet. And I don't think he's going to reach it. He is what he is now. But there are teams, right, that are going to be championship contenders that are the damn Rams. Rams picking up everybody. They might want to pick up Vic Beasley too. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think the Hawks are in a soft rebuild mode because I think, again, the offensive side of the ball is fine. I think they need that offensive coordinator. They need, or, the quarterback guru head coach type guy. Mm-hmm. They need that. And then on defense, they just need even more, talent. Because, look, Keanu Neal, I think, is probably the hardest hitting strong safety in the league, but your defense shouldn't fall apart just because he's not there. They look atrocious. They look bad. And now, like I said last week, now they're not even playing hard anymore. So it's a bad look. If I'm them, if Matt Ryan is hurt or not, take the rest of the season off. Julio,
Do they go in this year's draft with a QB in mind?
It depends on who they can get.
Because this is supposed to be a stock QB draft, like as squad as is. I know there's
don't tank for Tua.
No, nobody's tanking for Tua. It's just nice to say, but I don't think anybody's really tanking for Tua anymore. But there's still a lot of. I think there's like at least 6 of them coming out this year.
Mm-hmm. And so again, I think it depends on where you fall. Like if you fall in the top 12, 14, I think you take QB.
Well, what's their record? They're like 1-5.
Yep.
So they gonna be a top.
Trevor Lawrence. Well, tank for Trevor.
Well, Trevor, he ain't coming out.
How we say lose for Lawrence?
He can't come out this year.
No, he's next year. But the kid from Stanford, they're talking about him. I forgot his name. It's like KJ or something like that. Like he's supposed to be like not like Andrew Luck, but like he is a traditional QB, like prototypical. This is who you draft type shit.
They just lost to UCLA.
Andrew Luck had a lot of bad losses in Stanford too. It's hard to get talent out there.
At least they were ranked though.
Nah, I feel you, but just come on, man. Stanford, bro, that's like MIT, like in terms of how smart you have to get, how smart you have to be to get in.
UCLA beat Stanford, and they beat the shit out of them.
One of those things.
Are the Rams back? Are they back on track?
Nah.
No.
That was just a gimme game.
Yeah.
That's the Falcons.
Yeah.
Like, we can't give them credit for that.
Yeah. But I'll put it to you like Jaylen did his damn thing against Julio, though. You know that was the first time he played against him?
Really?
I thought Julio had like 100 yards still.
He did.
Yeah, that's Julio Jones.
That's not doing your damn thing.
But did you see the plays that Jaylen was there? Like, of course. Look, man, when you're talking about the best of the best, like even Randy and Chris Carter got a couple of passes on Dion. It is what it is. A great pass is going to beat the greatest defense. It is. That's how it's designed to be. Great offense is always going to beat great defense.
So speaking on that Jalen Ramsey trade, will that pay more dividends down the line, or is this off? Like I said, are they back? They look good, but their issues weren't with the corner or the secondary. It was mostly with the offensive line.
He's
and
gonna
run game.
make a difference, though.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, Julio is Julio. He's like the best receiver in the league. So, but I think he's gonna make a difference. It feels like it, but the Falcons are so bad we don't really know yet. But defensively, he's going to improve them a lot.
And I think that Aaron Donald, he over there fighting, fighting Freeman and stuff like that. So he might be suspended next game. So,
and where is he at? Y'all told me he was like best player in the NFL.
That's what he's supposed to be.
Where is he at? I've been another one.
I got nothing to say about that.
That ain't my team.
Rewind the tape.
Why don't people respect Jacoby Brissett?
Why didn't you respect Jacoby Brissett?
I know why I didn't. I'm saying why everybody else. I'm giving him respect now.
Hey, FIFO gave that man respect.
Go ahead.
FIFO said that FIFO said that the Colts were going to win that division. Right now, who's number one in that division?
The Colts.
And they look like they're only going to get better.
Is he the best quarterback in that division?
No, Deshaun is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my reason why I didn't look or notice him, especially with Andrew Luck just quitting on the day before the
but
first
look
season.
at the rest of the roster though.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I said even with Jacoby, I'm like, I think that they're gonna win.
Yeah, but I mean, like you look at, we're gonna get to Chicago, but like you look at Mr. Trubisky. I'm not saying he's Mitch. No. I'm not saying he's Mitch, but I'm just saying. Look, listen. I'm just saying. Even with a good roster, a QB can hold a team back. I didn't think Jacoby was this good.
We tried to tell you he could play.
Look, man.
Kyle tried to tell you. FIFO picked him. We were trying to tell you.
Look,
you're having a bad year, man.
Yeah, he is, man. You are, bro. You are in all sports. But
wait, hold on. Basketball ain't started yet.
It's already bad for you. But no, man. Like with Jacoby, man. We knew he could throw the rock, and it wasn't like he came in there, he was a game manager. They opened it up for him. We saw what he could do. We just didn't see it consistently, right? Because that first year when he came, he played. He was just finding himself, and he's been behind Andrew Luck. So based off of what I saw already, based off of the fact that I knew that they were going to be the deepest team in that division, I'm like, this is going to be Jacoby Brissett's coming out party, and it is. It is because he is a starting level quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not saying he's top 5. I'm not saying he's top 10. But I know that he's above top 15. I know he's at 15. And if you give me one of the deepest rosters in the NFL with a guy that doesn't make a lot of turnovers, because that's one endearing quality about Jacoby is that he's not just out there gunslinging, trying to make every single play, trying to fit. Nah, he takes what the defense gives him. He plays within himself, and because of that,
very New England like, right?
Very New England.
Shout out to Frank Reich, who's doing a hell of a job coaching him. I think he is another guy that he needs the pieces to be successful.
100%.
And
they got him.
Yeah, and they got him. And now he's with the coaching. And his ability, his lack of turnovers, is working out. So
they're gonna be a tough out.
Are they contender? Because isn't he supposed to?
What type of contender? Playoff team, or Super Bowl contender?
Like obviously the AFC is wide open. Like outside of the Pats, like you can be anybody up 2 and down. You know what I mean? Like for the second seed, like. Especially with the way he's throwing these touchdowns, isn't he almost leading the league?
They said there was a stat, I forgot, I saw it on Twitter and through Bleacher Report that he's on pace to lead the league in touchdown passes.
This is my biggest question mark about Jacoby Brissett. What does he look like in cold weather? Because if they could get home, exactly. If they could get home,
folks don't like cold.
We don't like cold weather like that. So if he can get majority home field advantage and don't got to go to Foxborough, they might be a Super Bowl.
They got to get the
contender.
number 1 seed then. And
I feel you.
And right
It's
now,
possible.
the Pats' schedule is cupcakes.
It is.
They got damn
It
the
is.
diabetes from that schedule. Like that shit is.
You know, here's the thing. I think that if they could even get the 2nd seed, right, and you know New England might get more than likely will get the 1st, but as long as they could be top 2, we'll see. I just got to see what they play like in outdoor weather, because we've known the Peyton Manning Colts, even the Andrew Luck Colts, they don't play.
And they're in
good
the
out
best
there.
division because they got the Jaguars and they got
Yep.
Houston, so they
Yep.
play mostly warm
Warm
weather
teams.
dome teams
Yep.
throughout.
Yep.
At least
Yep.
8 times a year.
Hey, Chris Smith in the chat real quick said to stop the Aaron Donald disrespect.
There's some Ram fans in here that be.
I know, because he had 20 sacks this year. My brother, how many he got this year? What's next?
Did Deshaun Watson mess up his MVP race?
Nah.
Nah, he's still in it.
Nah.
He's still in it.
Yeah, it's just he just lost to a good team.
Yep.
Yep. So
How are these Texans looking like though moving forward?
they win and lose with him.
They're up and down. They're
And
too up and down.
I think Bill O'Brien. I think they're gonna. I'm sorry, FIFO.
Well, this is his last year.
I don't know if it's his last year, but I think their play is based on his performance as a coach.
I put it to you like this: they need to make at least a wild card slot this year, or I think he's gone.
But don't they always make wild card and get knocked out?
And it's his playoff performances, I think, is what's
Exactly,
indicting him.
because now, right? We said that, or the consensus was, Deshaun don't got an O line. He don't got nobody to protect him. You made the trade. You've gone in your last two or three games. 2 of those games, you gave up no sacks. So you're starting to see the progression or your dividends play off from that trade. At this point, there are no more excuses. You have to get a playoff win.
Because it feels like to me that Deshaun Watson is overcoming his
A lot.
coaching.
Well, he always had to since he got drafted.
Since he got in the NFL.
Yeah.
But we saw when he's with the what's the guy in Clemson, Dabo?
Yeah.
You give him a coach, sky's the limit.
Yeah,
He
'cause
just
he's super
doesn't have it
clutch.
yet. Yeah.
He's super clutch.
Yeah, Dabo said he's MJ.
Yeah, but he needs his
He needs Scotty or Phil Jackson.
Yeah, he needs his Phil Jackson.
The 49ers. Are they for real?
Jimmy G, baby.
Kyle Shanahan. Look, and I'm gonna give you Jimmy G, right? Because
I ain't giving you Jimmy G.
Because I've been on Jimmy G too. I
have.
think he's a really good
I
quarterback.
call him Jimmy Crack Corn, but go
Whatever.
ahead.
But that boy,
6-0.
that man, Kyle Shanahan. I've been trying to tell y'all that is the difference between the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
That right there,
Yep.
that man right there.
You can draw a line like it's facts.
It's
you
facts.
got data to support it, and it's in W's and L's.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Man, you see, look, what Kyle Shanahan is doing with Jimmy G and with the 49ers is dictating the matchup. I know what your weaknesses are, and I'm going to exploit them. And I'm going to keep calling plays that you can't overcome. And you know what? We may have, a couple 3-and-outs here and there, but we're setting you up. And they every game they get a big play. Whether it's over the pass, the run, and then the way that they're constructed. They got 2 of the fastest running backs in the league, Tevin Coleman and Breida. You know what I'm saying? Wide receiver. I don't know who the hell the wide receivers are.
That's what's impacting Jimmy. He has nobody
To really throw to.
So you're saying they're coming up with these great offensive game plans because they're facing the Bengals, the Browns, the Skins, the Bucks. These are the top teams that they're game planning for. They ain't play shit. That's what I'm trying to basically say. The only teams that I give you credit for is the Rams and maybe that Steelers game because Big Ben got hurt.
What's the lowest amount of points they scored?
The lowest amount of points they scored was 9, which is most recent.
And the second lowest?
Second lowest is 20.
I think that says.
But look at the teams I'm saying. The Bucks, they ain't got no defense. The Bengals are the Bengals. The Steelers, they pretty much gave that game to them. And then the Browns have been the Browns. What are we talking about?
He just don't want to be wrong on Jimmy G.
Yeah.
It ain't that. It's because he's not. I will give you Kyle Shanahan. It ain't Jimmy G. It's Kyle Shanahan.
It's both.
Because Kyle Shanahan,
because somebody got to go out there and execute.
He didn't do that with Nate Sudfeld, and even if that was his name, with the other quarterbacks he had last year. He started when he won some games, but He wasn't 6-0. I'll give you this. I'm gonna keep the same energy. That schedule is
because
easy.
The only
cupcake.
So
the next 4 is against the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and then they play the Cardinals again.
Yeah,
so that Panthers Cardinals will definitely see what they really are. But I don't believe in this team at all.
You got to believe in that defense. Now you don't.
That defense is good. I'll give you the defense.
You don't have to believe in Jimmy G. But I bet you. Hey, if he was 0-6, I bet you'd be talking shit about Jimmy G.
100%.
What you mean? I'm talking shit now.
But you don't want to give him credit for being 6-0.
I'm not saying obviously you can't shit on 6-0, but we have to look at it with context. We always say context. That 6-0 ain't as the same as we're talking about with the or like a 5-1 with the Green Bay Packers. You know what I mean? It's like that. Their record, if you look at these teams that they facing, these are not the teams they're going to be facing down in December and January.
Yeah, they're just like the Patriots. They played a bunch of weak.
But the Patriots have been proven time and time again that they can beat anybody. The 49ers have been – this is the first time they're 6-0 since the 90s.
Which is because of Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan. But, if you want to give it to Kyle Shanahan, I'm perfectly – I don't care. And I'm with you. Like I said in our chat. The Rams were the only. Kyle don't believe in them yet, and I'm not going to argue with anybody. I just like to say he's 6-0. I just like to rub it in your face. but they haven't played anybody. But Kyle Shanahan is doing what he needs to do to coach. This is what a good coach looks like.
100.
This is how coaches can win games.
And shout out to John Lynch drafting
100%.
That defense. Was it the top? This is that first round. That's a first round defense.
Yeah. I didn't but when I think about Jimmy G's offensive performance, and I know because I drafted him, so I had to drop him.
Yeah, because he got number ranked 15 or 18th.
That Kyle is in terms of coaching, he's not being very aggressive with him. I think he's letting him play himself back into football shape and get to a level of comfort, and he doesn't have anybody to throw to outside of Kittle. That's why they're running the ball a lot and they're playing time of possession.
The next couple questions dealing with the top 2 rookies drafted in this year's draft class.
Let's go.
Is Kyler Murray? Do we just need to give Kyler Murray the Rookie of the Year trophy?
By default,
yeah, kind of, sort of, because like they're a better team with him. They look better.
I mean, they beat up on these shitty teams, but
of course, but
he's showing a lot of progression.
Of course,
he's played well and within himself.
But he's very limited. Like, and as much as and remember, I really like Kyler Murray. I really do. But when you watch him play, you can see that the height, size, it won't allow him to be as great as he possibly could be. That the skill set that he possesses will allow him to, because he's not Russell Wilson. And he has a better arm than Russell, but he's just not Russell Wilson.
What's the difference?
I don't think it's the coaching. I don't think that he is as great of a magician as Russell Wilson is. Also, he can't play under center.
What about cerebral? Like, does he have Russell's cerebral game? Because that's what Russ had. Russ had that defense. Kyler doesn't have that.
Nah, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to say he doesn't have it, but I haven't seen it.
And obviously it's a different play calling because they don't have the defense.
And because he has to play out of shotgun.
Well, I think Russ – I can't remember Russ' rookie year, but he was very high IQ. He had the Legion of Boom, so we didn't have to take him any chances.
Yeah, but as far as, like, Russ can play in any formation still. Yeah. You can't put Kyler Murray in any formation to be successful.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think he can throw from up under center. I think he's too short.
Oh.
And that's what I'm saying. He has certain limitations. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
But he has certain limitations that I don't think will allow him to be considered the best in the league, right? Like, because Russell Wilson right now is considered the best quarterback in the league, right?
Because if he was in the I formation, he would have to do like a 7-step drop back just to see over the line.
Or more than likely be a run.
Yeah. The next one this is for you, Ken. Was Danny Dimes too hyped up? This is rookie year. All right. We always talk about Peyton Manning threw 18, 17 picks.
But he looked good doing it.
Hey, Danny's a franchise QB in my mind. He's a franchise QB.
Where's the evidence?
The evidence was game 1 against the Bucks. And game 2 against the Skins.
Nah, man. Nah. I'll give him a pass for being a rookie. I always like to.
And Pat Shermer isn't helping him at all either. That game plan against the Cardinals was horrible.
I called out Shermer, and now he
now I'm with you on that because Shermer, I don't know.
Talking shit anymore, is he?
Not really.
Remember, he used to talk a lot of shit. Not my doctor.
But the thing is, he's an offensive coordinator. How do you not get like?
Remember, he talked all that shit about that's why we drafted him, and now you guys like all that shit he was talking in the preseason. Oh, he quiet now. Where he at? What quotes he got now?
The one thing I do like is this defense. The defense is coming along, and they've been making some plays, even special teams to a certain extent.
They couldn't stop Kyler Murray.
No, but Danny hasn't put him in position to like he throws picks. He it's 3 and outs. Like it's not like
he turns the ball over a lot. Where are the Jameis Wentz, the people that criticize Jameis for turning the ball over? Where y'all at with Danny?
But Jameis,
they did that with Jameis in his first year in the league, first year as a rookie starter.
And Jameis is balling right now.
Except out of that last game.
Well, for the season.
He's playing well, and I like Arians got on him about some of the mistakes he made, so he's coaching him up. But nah, man, I you know what? Look, everybody had their week, they enjoyed it, and I just said we gotta wait. I did not see it. It was the Bucks. The Bucks went out the very next game and did the same damn thing, and Danny, he's not looking like a top 10 quarterback right now.
I mean, no one expected him to be a top 10 quarterback. I'm just saying,
he got drafted like one though. I mean,
a franchise QB. He got drafted
in terms of his talent, his play compared to where he was drafted. We see it. Like I know there's some physical attributes that Kyler doesn't have. That's causing people to pause. But we see the talent.
He's talented.
I don't see the talent. I don't know about that.
He don't jump off the screen.
Nah,
that's
not.
the thing.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs to. He's not that kind of QB. He's not that kind of QB.
He needs to from where he was drafted, yes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, it doesn't mean that he has to always jump off of the screen, but I still haven't seen, like, moments yet. Because even Sam Darnold, you're hard on Sam Darnold. And, but there's moments it's like, ooh, damn.
I saw the moments last
But look at Goff in his first year, right? He didn't jump off the screen.
No, but that was all Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
Because I called that. As soon as I was like, look, man, this because B and Ken were all the way against Jared Goff, and I'm like, no, y'all wrong. He's the guy. Jeff Fisher is messing him up.
Can we say the same thing about Pat?
I still don't. Not all the way there with Goff, but
I'm just saying, like with
but we've seen it though. But we've seen it. The man got you to a damn
with Shermer.
He needs to coach. Yeah, he got the coach. Yeah, he definitely needs the coach. The coach was an improvement, and he has the physical tools. So I saw it with Goff when he got McVay.
Yep.
Maybe to your point, maybe it is Shermer. I don't know. But to FIFO's point, there were moments last year with Sam Darnold where I was like, ooh, I don't know. I might have been wrong on him. So, and I haven't seen that with Danny.
And that's what how many straight starts now? 3, 4?
That was his
fifth?
Four touchdowns, like 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
He looks bad, man.
No, 7 picks and like 3 turnovers or 2 fumbles, something like that. Some crazy.
He had a problem with. He's working on himself. All right, he ain't a finished product. You don't judge a quarterback in his first year.
Well, you was judging him after his first game.
Yes, you were.
I was saying he was a franchise QB.
And how can you say that after one game?
Because I seen the intangibles.
You ain't seen.
I'm not saying he's a finished product, but I think he can be a franchise QB.
You still see those tangibles because we have a lot of evidence. Now. We have.
I like his throw. I like his deep ball. I think he needs to allow the game to slow down for him. I think some of this defense stuff is just too much for him sometimes.
So the tangibles you saw in the first game against
the first couple games, yes.
You still see that? I
still see that. He knows how he's a scrambler. Like he's a playmaker. I see him as a playmaker. And he just needs to let the game slow down. We'll see. Give me year 2. If year 2 is shitty,
I can't do that.
Give me year 2.
I'll give him the rookie pass because I know he's gonna make mistakes.
Yes.
But I still haven't seen the moments. I haven't seen it yet. I just haven't seen it. I've seen a second round QB. Minshew look better than him, bro.
All right, we're gonna move on. Y'all ain't gonna shit on my team like that. Do the Chargers need to blow this team up?
Yes.
Did you watch that game at all?
Melvin
Melvin has had the worst holdout in NFL history.
Yeah.
He held out. He
ain't
improved shit. You had a chance to win us the game, and you fumble, nigga. This is your job.
I need all those points in my fantasy team. I was so mad when I
Swab had him at the way because he was happy as he was talking shit like, let's go. Then they called that shit back. I'm like, man.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, man, are you serious?
Austin Eckler looks like he should be the starter right now.
He's more versatile. He can run between the tackles. He's proven that, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Everything you need a running back to do in 2019.
Yeah, Melvin can do all of those things, but when you miss training camp and you miss games, it impacts you on the field.
And you talking shit throughout that whole process.
And it's something that I didn't realize the importance of all those practices and stuff until I started listening to Chris Carter. And he always stresses, like, those moments are critical. You need them.
Mark Schlereth says the same thing about
those
like
reps.
Like he says, like because of the new CBA or the current CBA, how they've taken away practices and all this other stuff, it's hard to really get, especially during the week, to get these game plans set up.
They say the Wednesday practice is the most important one. So I didn't know that, but now I see evidence of it, like it's being backed up. So in terms of blowing it up,
you gotta let Phillip go. Obviously you can let Melvin go.
I don't know, man.
Who else do you really need?
I think they're in purgatory. I think it's some people like to say. I think and I don't know what that purgatory is. I can't describe it. I don't know what the first word that goes in front of it, but they are stuck. And if you blow it up, what do?
I like the coach, though. I hope they don't get rid of the coach.
And I think the coach is the problem.
You think Lynn is the problem?
I think he's the problem.
He's too conservative?
He's the brother, right?
Yeah.
I hate to do it to him, but I think he's the problem. They still have all that talent. They have the talent. This is undeniable.
But Phillip Rivers, the way he's throwing,
Phillip Rivers
he's taking a step back.
Yeah, man, he's starting to see the age.
He's looking like Drew Brees in that second half of last year. Okay. After that Cowboy game.
He don't have the arm strength, and we already know that he wasn't mobile. He's less mobile now. You know what I'm saying? The throw power isn't there. The accuracy is still somewhat there
because he always had a weird throw.
Yeah, like he's a shot put kind of thrower. You know what I'm saying? And the release just isn't as quick. Like, he's just slower.
Okay.
He's just not the same kind of quarterback. And because he has taken a step back, I think that overall team is taking a step back.
Because like you said, they have weapons all over the place. And for a team to have weapons to lose to the Titans.
Like, you know who needs to be on that team?
Ryan Tannehill.
Nah.
No. I wasn't saying he needs to be on that team. Okay. I'm just saying that they put in to replace him with Mariota got benched.
Matt Stafford. Ooh. You put him there, that's a championship contender. That's a championship team. This team, it's never been high. Keenan Allen is more important to this team. Derwin James is more important to this team. Mm-hmm. Phillip Rivers is more important to this team than Ben Gordon. We can't say the Saquon. Saquon is the most important player on that team. Mm-hmm. That's the difference.
Do the Saints need to make a QB change? Meaning, do they need to, like, they're 5-0 right now. They just threw a bunch on a strong Bears defense. Mm-hmm. Teddy seems like this is the most comfortable. This is the Teddy that he was supposed to be drafted as, you know? Mm-hmm. Drew Brees could fuck it up. In my mind.
I'll put it to you like this. This is the way you play this out. You play Teddy, as long as he wins his first loss, you go back to Drew.
That's what I said. I said the same thing in the chat.
Because that's the look. I'm not benching no damn Drew Brees for Teddy. I don't care how many games he won.
Yes.
But as soon as he lose that first one, we wanted to hold Drew out. We wanted to make sure he was 110%.
That Cam shit.
Yeah. He's 120% now. Now he's playing. And I think it's as simple as that.
And their next game, I forgot who they play. But they have a bye week right after that, after this week. So, like, the excuse could be we're waiting until after the bye so he can get all that full rest, and then he'll be back for the second half of the season.
Yep.
But 5-0?
Yeah, no, it's tough. But it's Drew Brees though.
But
you know what I'm saying?
What do you care more about, wins or the name?
I think that you would have won the majority of those games if Drew Brees was healthy anyway. So It's not about. Yeah, I don't think it's about the name. I think it's about going back to what you know. And we know Drew Brees is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I can't say the same about Teddy Bridgewater.
No, you can't do that, man.
I'm just saying, momentum is a factor in the NFL.
And that's why I said you swap it out as soon as you lose that momentum.
But what if after the bye they still winning with Teddy?
You put Breeze. Stop,
Look.
guys, stop.
You saying you no matter what happens, you put Breeze back in.
Yeah, at some point. Because here's the thing. I don't think that Teddy Bridgewater goes undefeated for the rest of the season.
No. What if he can't?
But okay, so they're
let me look at their schedule.
What's their record right now?
Hold on.
Well, why are you doing that?
6-1.
6-1, right? So that means that there's 9 more games, right, in the season.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going 9-0.
They face the Falcons next before they have their
easy breezy.
No, they face the Cardinals next before they have their bye.
Then
they come back to the Falcons.
Uh-huh.
Then they're at the Bucks.
Uh-huh.
And then they have the Panthers. And then they still face the Falcons and the rest of the season.
So all of those are pretty easy wins.
Drew Brees is going to come back for the Panthers.
I think you can bring him back then, but you don't have to rush to play him.
Nah.
That's at the end of November.
You do.
That's cool. That's Drew Brees.
So here's why that works.
I'm saying he got to get back into his shape too.
Drew Brees is fine.
It's
That's
Drew
Drew
Brees.
Brees, man.
Here's why that works out, and because number one, you just it's Drew Brees, but more importantly, I think one of you guys just mentioned it earlier. Like he won't be tired because he won't play a full season. He wore down last year as the season went on. This time he's going to be fresh.
Yep.
So you get a fresh Drew Brees to end the season.
Now I'm gonna tell you where Teddy Bridgewater need to go next year.
Chicago.
He needed
100.
He needed
100. No, he don't need a.
Okay. I would love to see him inherit this Saints team with Sean Payton. Like when you have know the importance of you always talk about coach quarterback.
No, of course, but Matt Nagy is just missing a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because look, man, if you take away Trubisky and we look at what that offense is, very gimmicky right now because they have to create those matchups. It has to be because Trubisky is such a deterrent to any type of momentum offensively. Right, like he can't get the simple plays down that creates that forward progress. Right, Teddy Bridgewater would go into Chicago with that defense. He will go into Chicago with those offensive weapons that they got, and they would be an instant Super Bowl contender with Teddy Bridgewater.
Trubisky, man.
Yo, Trubisky out the league.
I try to hold on.
Mellowed.
Hey, don't say it. Hold on. Don't disrespect Mello by saying
Mello is a verb.
Bite your tongue on that one.
Yeah, can you go ahead and say what you said in the chat for the people that's listening?
I said FIFA was right. The Bears need to do something about Mitch.
We need to get that on public record.
Thank you.
Hey, and you already took my next question. I was like, what can the Bears do to salvage this season?
There's nothing. There's literally because
do they make a trade for Teddy now when Breeze comes back?
No. New Orleans ain't doing that.
Because I think New Orleans will try to hold on to Teddy because I think they would like, now that they've seen that he can win with Sean Payton, they would like for him to inherit it. And I think that's part of why he stayed.
Yeah, but the player in Teddy wants to go and play now. Because think about it, you got to strike when the iron's hot, especially in the NFL, because ain't nothing guaranteed. So if he waits around, what if Sean Payton decides to retire with Drew Brees
or draft a QB?
Or what if the organization gets rid of Sean Payton because Drew Brees is gone? Now, where does that leave you? Like you played an extra maybe year or two behind Drew Brees, and now you don't have the same opportunity. So no, he has to go.
This was a dress rehearsal for Teddy Bridgewater.
100%. This was his shot to be a starting NFL quarterback again, and he's acing the test.
So you don't see the Bears being aggressive and trying to get
They're gonna
somebody?
Nah.
Wait, when is his option up? When is Trubisky?
He was drafted the same class as Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
So this is third year, and he's
Yeah. So that means he's
that's crazy. They traded up to get Mitch over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, man. So
they married to him.
Nah, they
married to him. They married to him.
They'll probably go 5. They'll probably do the Winston and go 4 or 5 and then dump it.
Oh no, hell no. No, I put it to you like this. This is the reason why I'm saying hell no.
Because of the Khalil Mack and all that shit.
Exactly, that defense. Because of that defense, you can't continue to act.
The organization will not admit they made a mistake like that.
You know what I feel like Khalil Mack's gonna do? He gonna pull that shit that Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharp did when they was with the Baltimore Ravens that year they won the Super Bowl. They're gonna go to the front office and be like, Or he's gonna be like, look, it's me or him.
Yep.
Who do you want?
100%.
Khalil Mack's not that kind of guy.
But
He gotta be.
But Ken,
A great defense like this only lasts like 2-3 years at most.
Exactly.
And then you blow the whole team up.
And they got a whole bunch of defenders on that side, bro. Look, they have to get a ready now quarterback because that defense is championship right now, today and tomorrow.
I understand, but I think when they made the trades and they looking at Pats and they looking at Deshaun.
And that defense is getting tired of this QB
and
because
they made the playoffs last year with Trubisky. I think they
Nah.
But they only threw up what? How many points? Like 16 that playoff game or 13?
And the Ravens did the same thing when they won.
I'm gonna put it to you like this. I think that Chicago's front office is smart enough to get out of the Trubisky business.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. You're 100% right. A lot of organizations don't like to admit mistakes, right? But I think the way that Chicago has drafted, how they've constructed this defense, how they play, their coach, they are in win now. If you look at everything, their wide receivers, the running backs, the defense, everything is win now minus the quarterback. Because look, let's be honest.
Or maybe they think the defense is enough to carry them, a la the Ravens.
Not in 2019.
It can.
Not in 2019.
Because Ken, it gets real tiring, right, for a defense to be asked every team that we play against.
Unless you embrace it like Ray Lewis, because they embrace that shit.
But you know what? But here's the thing, though.
That's when you can play smash mouth football,
exactly.
too.
And who was they running back?
Jamal Lewis.
Yes. And how many yards was he rushing under Baltimore?
He almost ran for 2,000.
He had I think the year of the Super Bowl, he had like 1,800 yards, bro. So even though they couldn't throw the ball,
I got you. I see the connection. Yeah, they don't have a running game because
they don't.
Yeah.
And Tariq Cohen is nice, but he's a gadget
small,
guy.
yeah.
He's a gadget
David
guy.
Montgomery seems like he's a bust.
And Davis ain't doing much either.
And here's the thing: like the Tariq Cohens and that other running back, they can excel if the quarterback was a legit quarterback.
Okay.
They even can go for Andy Dalton at this point.
Bruh. Bring back, get Tony Romo on the phone. Get somebody in here.
Call the Corona hotline.
Yeah, with that bang back and all.
With everything, bro. Because look, Trubisky. Look, man, and you know what, man? You was a Trubisky apologist, man.
I thought I saw progression.
Nah, man.
All right, you ain't gotta lay the sauce on too hard now. All right, let's move topics. The next question. How long can Lamar Jackson keep up this production?
This is what Lamar is.
But we talked about in the chat. He gonna get smacked. The way he's running around these defense, they hate that. Everybody, all the defensive players, they probably in a big ass group chat like, who gonna hit him first? I'll give you money right now.
It's coming. That hit coming, man.
They gonna smack. They either gonna smack him up top or they gonna go for them legs.
I hope he needs to call Russell Wilson. He needs to be smarter about.
Because he don't slide.
He don't slide. He's doing the RG3 thing. He got to start getting down, but. In terms of performance, like people said, this is who he is. Mm-hmm. This is who he was in college, and this is who he is in the pros. But I really love the connection that he and Harbaugh have.
Yep.
When he was like, "Do you want to go for it?" and he was so hyped. And I love the media didn't flip that like they normally do.
Well, because I feel like the media doesn't believe their friendship or their relationship because I feel like.
But the aggression, normally they'll turn it in.
No, but I mean usually like with a young QB, like they don't talk about it like a Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid or like a Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz.
Because they don't want to admit they made a mistake.
Because they don't want to give. I don't think they want to give credit to Ozzie Newsome either. Because he set that franchise up for
he did, but
he's been an underrated GM the whole time.
I think it's more about the criticism that they levied against Lamar Jackson.
That too, yes.
I think that's it. That's why they're less quick to embrace him than they did with Patrick Mahomes.
But I also think that when you look at Jim Harbaugh, is he really known as a QB guru?
Nope.
And then we saw Lamar Jackson come into the league as a project, right? So this is the first year of the marriage really working. Is this sustainable? I in my heart of heart, I know so. I know what I've watched
sustainable as far as what, like doing like 200 throwing and 100 rushing, because he's like third in the league in rushing.
Yeah, he.
You can't do that as a QB.
No. The rushing part of that's gonna come down. Even Mike Vick was top 10 in rushing, in his early years. Mm-hmm. That's gonna come down. It's just he got young, fresh legs, and he ain't get popped yet. It's gonna happen. You play football, it's gonna happen. You gonna get hit a couple times, and he'll slow down, and he'll be more of a pocket passer, a pocket extender. Right, where he's not running downfield for 15, 20 yards. He's just going to extend the play 3 to 5 extra seconds, you know what I'm saying, behind the line of scrimmage to throw the ball. That's the eventual progression of Lamar Jackson. Coming back down, digressing back to the original question, the reason why we're not looking at this marriage like we do Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid is because, again, Jim Harbaugh is not a quarterback guru, and this was a project quarterback. So everybody still has questions. Mm-hmm. Let these guys marinate for 2 or 3 seasons and legitimize what Lamar is doing this year, then everybody's going to believe it.
Because people thought last year was a fluke, and now he's coming back 5-2, lighting people up. Winning, like taking
throwing the ball.
Throwing the running, ball. He's doing it all. And he's showing his whole bag.
And they still don't believe it. But I bet if this was Danny Dimes running all over the place, they would talk about this shit every damn day.
You got to do shit.
Just saying.
They just have to prove
it's a media bias right now with him.
And I think it's more Harbaugh than it is Lamar.
I disagree.
You think it's more?
I think it's Lamar Jackson. It's all based on Lamar Jackson. He is.
They don't believe him, man. They don't believe it. They're like Nick.
I feel like they're like looking at him like he's too urban for this position.
I don't even think it's that. I think they don't think it's sustainable, and I think that's why they haven't hitched their horse to him yet.
So the only thing I don't think is sustainable is the running. But that throw, like I told you at the beginning of the season, like against Miami, I don't care what type of the throws he was making. There's an improvement.
He can throw.
I always thought I never understood that throwing shit.
Yeah, that was
because he was. If you ever watched him in Louisville, what the fuck was they even thinking?
No. Of course, we knew he had an arm. Throwing in the NFL and having an arm is two different things.
I'm with both of y'all.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Like in college, he proved that he had an arm, and in the NFL, we knew that he could make the throws, but. Was he going to be able to read the entire field?
That's it, because we knew he could throw. We knew he was accurate. We didn't know if he can go through the progression.
Exactly. That's what I was saying about him being urban and at that position. Because like Patrick Mahomes, he plays like a Aaron Rodgers, pocket passer to a certain extent. With Lamar Jackson, it's like street. Not street, but like backyard football, where he's just running around, throwing this and that.
But the difference in that, because Tony Romo played backyard football, right? Like Russell Wilson plays backyard football. But the difference is that those guys still have their eyes downfield. They can look at this guy, look at this guy, look at this guy, look at this guy. Okay, let me run around because this guy's here. Let me get him with a quick spin move. Let me come back to my third guy that I just looked at in my progression.
You saying Lamar just look at one guy, if he didn't see it, and I'm out.
But year one, that's what it looked like, right? Yeah. It was a one read. It was Tim Tebow. It was Tim Tebow. It was a little bit better than Tim Tebow, but it was Tim Tebow all over again. And that's why I question, can he come in, can he throw the ball? Not because I question his arm ability or his arm talent. I questioned his eyes and the IQ it takes to go through progressions. That first game in Miami, I saw everything I needed to see because he put the ball exactly where it needed to go. He went through progressions, right? And once I saw that, I said, okay, let me not jump out the gym yet, right? He did it again. Then I think it was against Kansas City where he had quite a few questionable.
Yeah, he didn't pop off until the fourth quarter.
Bad games are gonna happen. Even some of the stuff he got away with when he threw across his whole body. You know what I'm saying? Like on a 4th and 11 or something like that. I was just like, bro, what are you doing?
But it hit. So
but it hit and he made it. That's what you call a playmaker. But then you look at this game. He was on point. Like he was on every read.
And it looked like he wanted to be. And like he had something to prove. That.
Yeah, because like when you beat Seattle, that means something. Like
that means something. Yep. And he was on. It wasn't backyard football. Mm-hmm. He put the ball. And then think about how many drops his wide receiver. And think about that
tight end was horrible.
Just think about the weaponry. He don't have elite weapons. He got some speed with
Snead,
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown.
He got some speed, but he don't got a guy.
Yeah.
You imagine he had a Julio
and Hollywood Brown's a rookie. Yep.
So nah, man, Lamar's real.
Maurice Wilkins in the chat said that the OC for the Ravens, Coach Kaepernick. So
I was going to ask who the OC for was.
So that's why you
shout out to him.
Yeah.
My next question is going with the Seahawks. Have the Seahawks been more lucky than actually good this season? And I say that because if you look at the games they've been winning, it's been on basically like the game clock ran out. It wasn't the fact that they won, but the game clock ran out.
That's one way to look at it.
And miss field goals as well.
Yeah, I think you can look at it that way, but I look at it from this perspective. I just think that's Russell Wilson. I think that's just his.
But you look at that Rams game where the guy misses a chip shot, basically. You look at the Bengals game, the first game of the season.
Brady's gotten lucky.
Yeah,
I understand that, but I'm just saying,
just like Jay says, when you play with skill, good luck will happen, right? And bad teams find ways to lose those games, and good teams win them. Yeah. They're a good team. Maybe they ain't deserve to win it. Maybe they only played good for 5-minute stretch, but they did what they had to do to win the games that are there.
And Russell, through his play, had them in positions for those errors to happen. So now let's we're not gonna discredit the brother like that. I done been hard enough.
No, I'm not saying Russell Wilson. I'm talking about the team.
I got you.
But again,
it's good fortune.
It is good fortune, and again, bad teams lose those type of games. They're not a bad team, so they win. They find a way. Even though that's not the way you drew it up. The W is a W.
I need Clowney to step his game up though. Like this defense is getting up a lot of points.
Well, we knew what Clowney was. We knew what Clowney was in the NFL.
You saying he a clown?
I'm like, he's not no clown, but it's just he's not living up to potential. He went number 1 overall, right?
Yeah.
He's not living up to number 1 overall.
When he was with Watt, he had some really good seasons. He looked like he was going to live up to it.
But that was also a lot of Watt.
Yeah. Well, even when Watt was hurt, but now
and even Watt coming back from his injuries is still producing. Like you thinking, what the hell?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm gonna start digging into seeing what's going on with him. That is weird. Like I forgot he was even in Seattle, and that's not good.
Speaking of someone you forgot about or y'all has been trying to forget, how about them Cowboys, baby? You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, that defense.
So he back top 10 now for you?
He's top 12 still. he's knocking on the door. He'll say he took a detour, but now he's on his way. He's on the road back.
Here's the thing. I blame that loss. Once I saw they got their ass smacked, I was like, that's Doug Peterson's fault.
All right,
running his goddamn.
Okay, I'll give you that. But that Doug Peterson been running his mouth though.
He needs to shut up.
He ran a whole book.
He needs to shut up.
He had a whole book ready after that Super Bowl.
Because I brought up Frank Reich earlier for a reason. Since Frank Reich been gone, Wentz ain't look all that good. That team ain't looked all that good. They won that Super Bowl when he was there. Frank Reich could be their Kyle Shanahan.
All right, so we're gonna come back to the Cowboys. Let's get to this Eagles. This is where I'm gonna go at Carson Wentz. But I do like your Doug Peterson angle. Carson Wentz is overrated. Carson Wentz is not that dude. And I've been telling y'all since that damn Super Bowl that he wasn't nowhere a part of. You was a part of that Super Bowl more than he was. He just had better tickets. All right,
he put 13 on the board. I'm not going to discredit the brother,
but he didn't win the games. We've seen teams put 12.
Would they
put 12 wins on the board?
Would they have been in the Super Bowl if he didn't win 13 games?
Would they have been in the Super Bowl? Say that question one more time.
Would they have even been in the playoffs or even to get to the Super Bowl without those 13 wins? The answer is
in
no.
the playoffs, no.
It's
Super
easy.
Bowl,
yeah,
yes, because Nick Foles took him in.
Yeah, Foles took it home, and Frank Reich. I'm telling you now. Frank Reich won that Super Bowl for them. Frank Reich was the reason why Carson Wentz looked as good as he has, or as he did. Frank Reich left. Look what Andrew Luck did last year under Frank Reich. Look at Jacoby Brissett under Frank Reich. Look at Carson Wentz under whoever's there now.
So the kind of Kyle Shanahan sauce type of magic?
I'm starting to get that vibe, man. I did not believe in Carson Wentz until that season. And I was slow to come around, and then I was like, oh, there's something there. But now that Frank has been peeled from that team, and I see how this brother is playing, I know the tools and the skill set are there. I think he might be one of those quarterbacks that needs the coach.
And honestly, this roster isn't really that good either.
And that's the other thing. And he's elevated it at times. He's been able to do that. We've seen it up to last night's game. Last night, I think there was a buzzsaw because Peterson talked too much, and the Cowboys came out ready to whoop their ass.
And since that Super Bowl, they have not addressed their secondary, which everybody knows you could throw up points on the board with that secondary. And then on top of that, their offensive weapons, if your best receiver is, Alshon Jeffrey at this stage of his career, what are we really talking about? Deshaun Jackson's been nicked and tucked for the last couple seasons, so how much can you – and he's already long in the tooth. Him being on Philly is more like a swan song than anything else.
You haven't had a running game in
since LeGarrette Blount, for real.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, in Zach Ertz, he can't even – he doesn't even get that many touches like he used to.
Yep. So they've been hurt. I do think that 3-4 record is partly due to the injuries.
What about that offensive line too? They're supposed to have a top 5 offensive.
We can throw that in there too. I mean, the evidence is on the field. The evidence is in the record. It's a lot for Wentz to overcome, and he hasn't been able to do that.
And that locker room talking shit again, because there was somebody, anonymous source.
You brought that up. Not even talking shit. Well, yes, Lane Johnson. That's not an anonymous source.
You saying it's Lane Johnson?
There is a name. There is a name. Lane Johnson came out and said, guys are missing practices. Guys are late. Guys are not taking it serious. He called them out.
No, there was an anonymous source that said this Wentz needs to learn how to check down every now and then.
Okay, I don't think that was Lane Johnson, but just in terms of the overall attitude, maybe they fat because they won the Super Bowl, feeling themselves like they did. But Lane Johnson definitely called them out. And I don't know.
Where does that start?
Coaching.
So you're saying Dougie P?
Yeah, man. You got to be able to have.
Didn't they jump on Tomlin?
Yep.
Yeah, they did. But they always jumped on Tomlin.
But just think about the coaches that have sustained success, meaning that you go to Super Bowl, you may or may not win, but however, your team is always there or always in the talks. Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll. You have to have enough loose, but you got to know who the boss. Mm-hmm. And you got to know that if I say practice is at 10 in the morning, you got to be there at 9:45.
Second boss got to be the quarterback.
Yep.
And nobody listening to Carson Wentz.
Baby Doug Peterson isn't empowering them to listen.
We don't know.
That we don't know yet.
We don't know.
Well, I think it's more about the respect. Like, you didn't win us this Super Bowl. We already had the shrine for Nick Foles. Like,
Ken said, though, like, part of that is the coach empowering the QB. You know what? Y'all want to know what time practice is? Hit up Carson. Let Carson run and organize certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do those type of things because that is what galvanizes teams.
And I think part of that roster has turned over. I got to look at it.
This is football. Of course it did.
That's not even a Super Bowl roster.
Well,
who are they to talk shit about what Carson Wentz did or didn't do?
Well, no, the ones who are there are the ones. I think those are the ones who are talking shit. And that the reason why that
Peterson got to get that shit in check.
That turnover on the roster is also on Philly too, because they let Bennett go. They let a couple other people go. Obviously, they had some people retire. But
probably salary. I mean, cap.
What happened to the Legion of Boom once they started talking?
Yep.
You out of here. You out of here. You out of here. And replace them. Y'all not gonna talk nothing about no Russell Wilson.
Are they a playoff team?
I still think they'll turn it around. They just got to get healthy, man.
Honestly, Ken, I think it's a wrap for them.
I'm done with them.
It's because the injury, everything is starting to catch up. The stories, the no practices, the Carson Wentz not checking down, always trying to hit the big play. All of that stuff is catching up.
He's always been that guy, though.
He always has been, but again, progression.
Yeah, that criticism always. I'll give them 2 more weeks before I make a decision on that one.
Yeah, because it's the NFC. It's the NFC East. So, and the Cowboys only got one game up on them right now.
True, but the Cowboys are in better position to literally run away with the division.
They have a better overall roster than
they have a better overall roster, and they have stuff that can travel. The run game travels. Doesn't matter if it's cold or hot. You got Ezekiel Elliott back there. You got the O-line that's been dinged up, hopefully by playoff time. And when the games count even more, that O-line will be intact. They just have more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They're more on the train track than Philly is right now.
Yeah,
and with that being said, are the Cowboys back on track?
No.
I think they took the right turn.
Because this is what happened last year, right? When they played Philly at home. they got after that game. That's when everything kind of fit. They went on that run.
Their ETA is still minus 15 minutes.
I think because of what Doug Peterson said, I just think they were extra motivated last night. There's no way they're going to let a Philly come in and whoop their ass after the coach said we're going to go to Philly and win. He said that Sunday after they took an L, I think. What the fuck are you? And you coming to Dallas to win? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck. Yeah, they I knew that was, when I saw 37-10, I already knew what was up. And they were talking shit to him.
They was harassing the whole squad. DeMarcus Lawrence, that seemed like off rip. He got a strip fumble. I haven't seen Carson make that many mistakes in a long time.
Yeah, so I think that's what that game was. So I'll wait to see what happens next week.
All right, shoot, that's all I got for the recap. I don't know if y'all want to talk anything else going on in the league.
You want to say anything about Zion?
Well, something new happened, or
did you say anything about the injury? Did you comment on that?
Did we talk about that?
No. Did you know about? Did you post that, or did someone else post that in the chat? As far as him out he had knee surgery, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know he had surgery.
Yeah. Well, they call it a procedure, but if you out 6 to 8 weeks, you had a surgery.
Yeah,
he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So he if it's 6 weeks, he's gonna miss 20 games. If it's 8, he can miss up to 30.
That there goes their postseason run.
Yep.
They're out of playoff contention.
It's sad,
just
man.
Like
I wanted to see the guy play. I know eventually we will see him play.
Yeah.
People saying, is this Greg Oden?
Too early.
Yeah, that's too early.
It is definitely too early.
And
but
Greg Oden is way different because he was just like.
But he built different too. And that walk, that man, he walked with a waddle.
He do, Ken.
He walked with a waddle.
He do.
I don't want to go Greg Oden yet, but it's not a good look, especially when it comes to those knees.
And he need to lose that weight. He eating too much duck sauce. He started walking like one.
So
you can't talk about Zion without mentioning that weight.
Now here's the thing. Like I saw some pictures of him at Duke versus his first games with New Orleans. And he was a little bit slimmer. Like you could tell he was more in shape at Duke than he is right now. So I definitely think that played a little bit into it.
Is it because of the injuries and him being out and not being like?
I don't know. Honestly, I can't say what it is. I just know what I see. And what my eyes are telling me is that he needs to get in better shape. And I don't think I think God made him that way. So people say he needs to lose 30 pounds. He won't be who he was. Remember that 1 year LeBron came back and he looked like a shell of himself. LeBron couldn't get up off the ground. He had no power. He couldn't even dunk. You know what I'm saying? Until LeBron said, hey, let me get them carbs back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
he went on that diet that
it was
Ray
that peanut,
Allen had him
that
on.
peanut oil diet.
Yeah,
like
man.
that,
He came
Him and
back
Melo did that.
old.
They was like they lost like half their mind.
It's unfortunate, man, because he was one of the things that we were looking forward to this NBA season. Zion playing,
and the first game of the season, literally the first game of the season is him versus Toronto.
Now we got to watch RJ Barrett.
100%.
Chill out.
So now my question is more so this: can he still win Rookie of the Year? Like Rookie of the Year is gonna be wide open now.
It depends on what RJ does.
And Morant
ain't doing nothing.
Nah, he ain't gonna be. Rookie.
We always say Rookie of the Year can still be. It's not always a open shut case as far as first overall pick.
And I'm not saying that, but I think that Zion was that much above everybody else in terms of impact on their team.
I agree.
Right? With Ja Morant, he's gonna have impact, but the numbers aren't gonna show it. I think Ja's gonna have an amazing rookie year, but I don't think that it's even gonna be as good as Trae Young's was. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's gonna get the assist numbers because I don't think that they have enough finishers on that team yet. He's CP. Can he go out there and score 50 tonight? Yeah, he can. But he'd rather go get 15 assists. And I think there's going to be games where he has 8 points, 15 assists, 3 steals.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if the numbers are going to be able to back up the case.
He doesn't have and plus he doesn't have the storyline that Zion has.
He doesn't.
Narrative is everything when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And all people have talked about was Zion. Like, nobody's talking about RJ and nobody's talking about John.
Don't say nobody's talking about RJ. People talking about RJ.
Who?
You?
People, RJ.
They're not talking about who. What other rookies they talking about?
I think it's just
actively talking.
I think it's just right now. It's just Zion and RJ.
Yeah.
RJ. I think
They're
Morant is the
talking about
forgotten.
RJ,
he's the forgotten rookie.
I'm telling you, who's going to win Rookie of the Year.
You were talking about that Boston kid?
No. Not Carson Edwards. And I like him. He's X factor.
Did you mention him to me?
Bobo?
Don't say Hunter.
No.
I knew he was gonna say Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter. You know why? Because I see him on this roster. He's gonna get 14 to 16 points.
Nobody talking about his ass either.
Ain't nobody talking about him. But I think they will talk about him because I think that the Hawks. Remember, you picked them to be in the playoffs. I picked them to be in the playoffs. I think DeAndre Hunter is gonna have moments in this year where he's gonna shut down a PG or a Kawhi or a LeBron.
You heard what Trae Young said?
Nah.
He was like, the Hawks is gonna shock a lot of people.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
Well, I didn't see that, but yeah, no, I agree with him. I'm telling you, look, DeAndre Hunter is going to raise some eyebrows this year.
It's possible. I mean, there's a story there. National champion. You come to the team. They become a playoff team with you. I could see NBA writers and media latching onto that. That would be a good story to tell.
But that's if everything goes right, though.
Yeah.
Like with Zion, it just writes itself.
But here's the thing, though. Like I think the Hawks have so many ways to be right that even if one thing goes wrong, they're still on track. Just think about how much wing talent they have and how deep they are there, right? If Huter gets hurt, that's fine. Cam Reddish get hurt, that's fine. The only person that really can't get hurt is Trae. Trae is the most important part of that whole thing.
DeAndre, he's gonna need some moments though.
Yeah, I think that
he got to dunk on a couple people at least.
I think he's really gonna get it on the defensive end, man. I'm telling you, I think he's gonna have moments where he's gonna get a
defense. Don't get you rookie of the year though.
But I think he's gonna have enough offense,
right?
Because again, what did I say? Trae Young's best quality is
passing. I think if that storyline shapes up, I could definitely see that. If it doesn't, the only other person, depending on Zion's health,
it got to be RJ.
Would be RJ, but he got to ball the fuck
because he got the biggest spotlight. He's in the biggest city.
They got to win though.
No, they got to win.
They got to win more than they lost than last year.
Exactly. They got to get closer to 500.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has to be 20 plus points.
Yep.
I won't even say that. I think he needs to have more all around because he's an all around guy. He needs to have he needs to average between 16 and 19. Have at least.
He got to be close to 20.
Because think about it.
For the writers to care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the assists will make the writers care.
They don't care about
if he gets between 5 to 8 assists a game.
And
that'll contribute to it, but the points is what they look for.
Because here's the thing, Julius Randle is their number one option.
Yes,
right. And we saw what he was 20-point scorer last year. Mm-hmm. I think that he does the same thing,
I
especially
agree.
now with even more opportunity. Mm-hmm. RJ needs to be that second scoring punch, if not the scoring punch on most nights. That is how RJ wins the.
And they'll give him the green light for it too.
He's gonna have the.
I think he already got it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
He has the green light, but I question RJ Barrett's shooting. You know, obviously, from a field goal percentage perspective, Zion shot better than RJ, but we know why. Mm-hmm. Do you know that Zion shot better from three as well?
That's the thing about RJ.
34% for Zion, 31% for RJ.
RJ's efficiency is not that great.
Exactly.
It's not that great.
So to me, because of that, I think that in big moments, you're gonna see the want to. Like I
like that mentality though.
The mentality is there, and we seen it even in Duke.
Yeah.
But he is going to have to learn how to scale that back for it to fit. Mm-hmm. And I think because he's going to have blunders in big moments, that's going to hurt him in terms of his storyline.
Last thing, let's hit some of the contracts, and then we'll get out of here. You hear about Jaylen?
Yeah, he got 115.
4-year,
Jaylen Brown
extension.
Celtics.
They're trading him.
No, they're not.
Why?
I don't know why you so sour on Jaylen Brown.
I'm not sour. I like Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, this is new to me. Go ahead. Why?
Ken.
He said this yesterday.
Why? I know. I must.
Kemba.
Why extend them to trade him?
Kemba.
There's a poison pill in the contract, I think.
Is there?
Yeah,
somebody will pick it up. But look, right now you're paying Kemba, right? You're also paying now Jaylen Brown, right?
Which you didn't have to, but go ahead.
I feel you. But let me ask you, if you trade somebody on a rookie deal, what are you getting back? Peanuts. Because the rookie deal is $3 million a year.
Okay.
But you sign them to a max contract, what do you fetch back? Think about KD, D'Angelo Russell. If D'Angelo Russell was on a rookie contract, that would have never worked.
I got you.
Right now, you're paying Kemba Walker. You're paying Gordon Hayward. You're going to pay Jaylen Brown. And you already know.
But those are the only 2 big contracts you got on a team.
But they're going to pay who? He's coming up.
But
Jason Tatum.
Not anytime soon.
What do you mean? It's a year after. They're not paying 4 guys max contracts.
This is his 3rd year, right?
Yeah.
So why
he's gonna re-up next year?
So why wouldn't they trade Hayward?
Who wants Hayward?
People
trades are 2 sides.
People would take Hayward.
No. Nick. Trades are 2 sides.
I get you.
The only way.
But his contract right now is not that bad.
And
that's the only reason why I say he could trade.
And I'm not saying that it is. But what I'm saying is, who wants Gordon Hayward with a question mark?
Right. He would have to play really like he got to go back to Utah, Gordon Hayward.
That's the only way you'll be able to move him.
If he doesn't do that, then Jaylen Brown is the most tradable asset that they have.
Because you're not paying 4 guys.
I got you now. That makes sense.
That's all I'm saying. I love Jaylen Brown. I still don't think that he's played up to his ceiling or his expectation.
He's still getting better.
He's still getting better. He's still in this 3 to 5 window. But again, you're not paying 4 guys. And I know if they had to pick between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who you picking?
Obviously, we know that.
Yeah. Sabonis got an extension for $77 million.
How many years? 3?
I think it's
4?
about 3 or 4. Yeah.
That's
not bad. It's not
that's
bad.
a good deal for him.
And I think the one that we talked about yesterday was
Pascal.
Pascal. Oh, we didn't talk about Pascal.
We kind of did.
A little bit.
But we knew it had to happen.
But for those of you that listen to the NBA preview, we want to acknowledge that Buddy Hield got his contract. So that's all.
86 million.
Yep, 86 with he can
3
easy to reach incentives to make it 94, and harder to reach incentives to get it up to 106.
You know
I think it's 4. It's 4.
And how many years he been in the league now? 3 or 4?
Yeah, probably about.
He's made more 3-pointers in his first 4 years of his career than Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Ray Allen.
And when you look at his percentages,
it's stupid.
They're off the chart.
He only struggled that.
It must be because
year.
he's in Sacramento.
That rookie year was the only.
That rookie year he struggled, but after that he figured it out.
Yep.
And people don't like if you get traded as a rookie, then that says something. I mean, not a rookie, but on your rookie deal.
Yeah, it happens.
But he has a no. Ben Simmons got the poison pill. That's what I was telling you in his deal. But yeah, Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, 3-year, $144 million. That's a lot.
I thought it was 100. I thought it was a 4-year, 130.
130.
Yeah.
It's 130.
Yeah.
My bad, Pascal. I was trying to give you more bread. Right? Should have gave it to you.
And it's in Toronto, and in Canada too. They be taxing.
They be taxing like motherfucker.
Why you think?
Now we gotta see.
Kawhi got his ass up out of there, boy.
If he gonna be the man now, because you up, he up.
But you know it's interesting, right? Like at the end of the preview show, we talked about the 8 teams that we thought were going to make the playoffs. I kept Toronto out of there, and for a couple of reasons. Nothing due to Pascal. I think Pascal is going to get 18 to 22 points a game now, especially with so much more opportunity. He is lengthy. He is a legitimate 4-man size, but with a 3-man's game.
Yeah.
Right. Kyle Lowry is going to be gone. He's going to get traded. He's not going to make it to the trade deadline. He's going to be another person that's going to be on the move. I don't see this team having enough firepower to get over the hump and make a playoff push. I just don't see it.
Don't either. After I looked at it a little bit closer today,
I like their team still.
If I had Toronto in, and I know East. I said I wanted to modify it, I will take them out and put in Detroit.
It's the East. Come on, man.
I think I like the coach, Dwayne Casey in Detroit. I know Nick Nurse can coach. Dwayne Casey has more to work with.
Yep.
And losing Kawhi was big. And if Lowry is gone, it's going to be even huger.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Because obviously Van Vliet steps into the Kyle Lowry spot. You know, OG now plays the 3. To me, I start Pascal at the 4. Who's your 2? Because you don't got Danny Green anymore.
Right.
You know, and Van Vliet played a small ball 2 with Kyle Lowry. They don't have enough.
Yeah.
They just don't have enough. And I think I need to look at their first round picks to see, what type of draft capital they have.
Chris Boucher, but I think he's buried on the depth chart because of the front court, so he won't be able to get in.
Yeah, but I need to see the moves that Masai Ujiri made to see what future draft assets they have.
Oh, okay, that's what
you know what I'm saying. Yeah, because if they don't make the playoffs, that's a good thing for Toronto, right? Because you already have your established player. We know how we want to build our team, and oftentimes with a rebuilding team, you don't have that first piece, and they have that, and they have even more pieces. Again, Fred VanVleet is a piece. So is OG Anunoby. They're pieces, but they need more talent. They need another guy, and they don't have that. So.
We got a Canadian in the chat. All he said was, "Man, Shark Canada is the username." Sorry, bro, but
the Toronto, they still playing playoff basketball in my mind. Like I think they at least can be an 8 seed. At worst case scenario,
they talking shit too. They say everybody forgot about us or something like that.
Yeah.
Here and this is on the court
because they lost the King of the North.
Question mark. That's funny. The biggest question mark I have on the court is this. How does Pascal deal with double teams?
Yep.
Because it's easier to play off of Kawhi. It's easier to get 30 points in the final series when you got Kawhi over there. But now it's you.
You the man.
And they bring in 2-3 guys at you. You know what I'm saying? How does he handle that? I don't know. I don't know if his skill set lends. What's his nickname?
Spicy P.
Oh no, hell no! You trying to be a porn star?
I don't know what the hell that is.
All right, man, we're gonna leave it right there.
Shout out to the UK fans. We got some people across the pond just fucking with us too. They talking about. I think I saw some YouTube comments.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm gonna address some comments about China. We got to get out of here. It's late, but I got y'all next week though. Y'all were talking mad cash about me and my China comments, but I'm going to respond to you in Reddit, and then I'm going to verbalize because I was thinking about it today. I got fire. So I'm coming. I'm coming for all y'all that disagree with me too. So, but we're going to get out of here right now, and that's going to do it for us. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.